What you gonna want to do?
This is better.
Yeah, sounds great. What you gonna want to do? A podcast is sponsored by Lazy Bones Mattresses. While most mattress companies will brag to you about how comfortable they are and tell you that you are going to get the best sleep of your life at Lazy Bones Mattresses, that's not what we're all about. America just keeps becoming more and more lethargic and unproductive. Lazy Bones doesn't want you sleeping in the sun. That's why every Lazy Bones mattress is stuffed with actual bones. Sure, we want you to sleep, but let's not overdo it. How are you going to get your day's work done if you're laying in bed all day? So while those other mattress brands got you sleeping in the evening shade, Lazy Bones has you up and at 'em getting the cornmeal made. Lazy Bones mattresses made with real bones.
Welcome to Answers in Genesis News for October 2nd.
This is what we are. Good one, Kevin.
This is the What You Gonna Want to Do podcast.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm Kevin.
I'm Scott, but he's...
Caleb. But he's...
What are we going to talk about today, Scott?
Oh,
you have the topic. Before
we get into think of it, I think us as a podcast needed to address the fact that one of the members last week made some pretty egregious claims, maybe some heavy conspiracy theory stuff, and we want to kind of clear it out a little bit.
Okay.
I did some research over the weekend. And although there were some claims that maybe accused Elton John of being a murderer, which I think was mostly...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't think I did any of that.
Somebody said it. Somebody at this table said it. I don't want to point fingers. But I did some research, and it turns out Elton John, good friends with Princess Di.
Oh, that's kind of why he did what he did.
Well, let me get there.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
All right.
Good friends with Princess Di. And it is why he retooled the song at her funeral. And that's why it picked up steam again.
Okay.
Candle in the Wind was performed at her funeral with the Princess Di twist. So probably a little less flirty than the original, you know? But it had the Princess Di twist. And then he was knighted the following year.
Oh.
Here's why I think he was knighted.
Okay.
I think Mr. Elton John, being the world-renowned recording artist that he is, he had more than his fair share of money to play around with. And he knew something was fishy with this Princess Di stuff. And he was gonna stop at nothing to blow the lid off the whole shebang and expose the Queen for what was up, which we all know is 100% true. The Queen did.
The Queen.
And so the
Not Charles?
No, it was the Queen. She was trying to clear the family name.
Yeah, your grandma listens to this, right?
I know, but I'm doing what I'm doing.
Sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom.
You mean Grandma's the only one who listens to this?
He's going for it.
Yeah, I'm going for it.
She's it.
And Elton was gonna blow the lid off the whole shebang, but the Queen, she knew what was up. She knew Elton was hip to her jive.
The views expressed by Caleb are not necessarily those of the What You Gonna Want to Do podcast.
But it's all true. And she knew Elton was hip to it, and she knew she had to snuff that flame out. Another flame. See what I did? Candle in the wind.
Yep.
So she wanted to snuff this out. So what she did is she said, "Listen, Elton, I'll knight you if you just kind of let this all die down.
So Elton doesn't really have any integrity, is what you're telling me.
No integrity, but he is not a murderer. That's important to know. Or it had nothing to do with that murder.
Okay.
I guess I cannot say without a reasonable doubt Elton John is not a murderer. I just know he didn't have anything to do with this particular murder.
That one.
Yeah. And I guess I say all this to say, get out there and vote. Replace the monarchy, you know?
Down with the monarchy.
Yeah, rock the vote. Get a new monarch in there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't think I understand how the British government works, but vote.
Vote for a new king.
Yeah, get a new king or queen. I'm not sexist, but you need to get a new monarchy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, could be either.
Yeah, could be. They've done both
Yeah.
poorly. That's why you gotta get out there and vote.
Poorly.
Yeah, get it together, England.
All right. Is everything off your chest now? Do you feel
I just
better?
I felt like we as a podcast could not let this stain be on our record. I do know one of the people on the podcast had some things to say last week, and I just think we need to clear the air. Make sure everything, get the stain off.
Yeah.
Once again, apologies to my mom.
Some controversy that needed to be cleared up.
Yeah, but now nothing controversial has been said. Just facts today.
Yeah. Just pure facts.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we report. That's why we're here.
May have been a little speculation in there.
Not on my part. I researched it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's that.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Scott, you had a topic idea.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I thought maybe we could all talk about, and I know, Caleb, there's a different era here, but I thought we'd all talk about the time, the era that we were in our formative years, or,
Sure.
that kind of thing. And especially maybe obviously for Springfield, the area, because we all grew up here. So I thought maybe we could do that. And
that sounds
might be fun. And
you want to kick us off?
Sure. Well, I grew up in Reynoldsburg, which is not Springfield, but only the first.
For the record, Reynoldsburg is not Springfield.
Just to clear that up. We need to get that off our chest real quick. Because we're just reporting facts.
There went my topic. I grew up there, and then was in Westerville, and then moved to Springfield. So I was in.
We were just waiting on you to get there.
I believe it was 6th grade.
Yep.
And that's where I met my good friend Kevin.
Yeah.
We're going to Reed Middle School.
Yeah.
And, I of course, due to the area, but people like Kevin and another friend, Brad Yaller, and, very great, good guys, and we were all quick friends and had good times. All of us enjoyed sports and the big sports thing, and we went and played football and baseball and had our wiffle ball tournaments in the backyard. I won't get into too much. That might be a topic for another time.
Sure.
But we had a great time, and I tried to come up with stories that doesn't incriminate any of us.
It's very hard to do.
Because we had some crazy times here and there, but I just remember, and maybe Kevin can, all of us have different details. To me, it's more of an emotional sort of image-based memory. Of course, memories are a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a lot. I don't remember like a bunch of details, time, or maybe even certain specific places within Springfield. But I just remember in general that it was, and I think probably a lot of people say this of the eras that they grew up in. And I was talking to my parents about this because I said, well, I've always told Mom and Dad, I said, I just had a wonderful time growing up and appreciated how they raised Sean and I. I mean, we had our issues, but we were, for the most part, we had a great time, and I wouldn't trade it. I mean, even I said, I know you guys, meaning Mom and Dad, maybe had a more innocent childhood than we did. As time keeps marching forward, it seems like the young and what they know or think they know keeps increasing.
Yeah.
But I said, I think for our family and for our friends' family, I think we were fairly innocent and grew up that way, and I think we remain friends to this day, most of us.
Yeah.
And I just such a wonderful time, and I think there were certainly times in America and certainly in Ohio, Springfield's history, where things would change, and that was coming. But I think for a while there, I think things were pretty relatively normal, and as far as change goes, there wasn't these sweeping changes that came in. Springfield was maybe not at its peak at that point, but it was still a decent place to live, and things were. We had the mall, we had all these other things that we enjoyed doing, and I think it was a healthier maybe state of things than at other times.
Yeah.
But I just, obviously being 57, you get older, you start reflecting on things, and I try not to solely dwell on maybe our being brought up. I like to try to compare it to how my parents were. So I'm not saying it like it's an objective viewpoint that we had the best childhood ever. Yeah. I don't think anybody could ever really say that necessarily.
But we could. We could say that.
But Kevin's weighed in that he says we.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
But I know I'm not giving too much away, because some of these topics will come up again.
Oh yeah.
Specific times and things that we've done. But I just wanted to say in general that just kind of emotionally and mentally where I felt growing up where I was. I really come to love Springfield. I mean, there's some things that I have problems with. We all have problems. It wouldn't matter where you live.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I just really come to love the town and love the people. Really, there's a lot of good people here, God-fearing people, and just I had a wonderful childhood. I really can't complain. Whatever I've done in my life, the paths that I've taken or choices, that's on me.
Yeah.
I really don't. It was a good time, and that's it. I really can't.
The best of times.
That's right. Was that Charles Dickens?
Or was it the worst of times?
It might have been both. Best of time and the worst.
Oh, like a duality sort of thing.
Yes. Thanks for bringing that out. That is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Springfield is great. It's a great place to grow up. I grew up living in town until I was in the 4th grade, and so it was kind of cool because our good friend Brad had gone to Reed, which is a school just outside of Springfield.
Footnote: Brad Yaller was a good friend of Kevin Clark and Scott Weaver. Yeah. End of footnote.
But I still consider him one of my best friends. But I grew up in town, and then when I was in the 4th grade, moved out into the county, where we went to Reed, which, as Caleb points out, no longer exists.
It doesn't.
But then our
empty
so I came in 4th grade, then our buddy Tim came in 5th grade, and then Scott came in 6th grade, and the four of us were like kind of like the 4 musketeers throughout middle school and into high school, and I know.
3 musketeers.
Well, we were running around together, playing ball, getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Running around town.
And I think you said it earlier. We were talking to, that we were all talking a little bit earlier about having fun with where we were in the pecking order of whether it's middle school or then junior high school. And I think Kevin said it best. I think we kind of got to know a lot of people because we were sort of, I would say, somewhere in the middle, and we kind of fraternized with both the upper crust, I guess you'd call it, or people that weren't as popular maybe, and
Yeah.
just got to know a lot of different walks of life. That was cool. That was kind of fun.
I think some of that has to do with how we were brought up. You know, that no one's better than you.
Yeah.
You're not better than anyone else, and so you treat everyone with respect.
Yeah,
You know
well
what I
said,
mean?
Kev.
I mean, and of course, there were times that didn't happen. That you were, picked on people or whatever.
Yeah.
The era that we grew up in, you were bullied, and you bullied people.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was. I mean, not that it was right or wrong. I think in some ways, it hardens you so that as an adult, you can kind of cope a little bit better with certain things because of it.
I agree with I agree with you, Kevin.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that in my journey on through adulthood, that I look back and I could see some things that you were upset about, and then you're like, well, that's really nothing, dude.
Right.
From what you might encounter later on. If anything, it probably helped you grow a thicker skin, which isn't a bad thing necessarily all the time.
Yeah, I mean, because think about it. You've not had any job in your life where your boss yelled at you like your football coach did.
Yeah.
Well,
not ours at the time, because he was a yeller, one of those kind of coaches.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that kind of thing just makes you tougher.
But my first boss was an orphaned Marine sniper.
Oh man.
So
Ooh. Well, you probably have the exception.
he
then.
wasn't. Yeah, he
That's
was,
what
he was an odd duck.
I'm sure.
That one for sure, Caleb.
Was it Korea? No.
Probably not.
Yeah, he
Oh
wasn't.
boy,
Yeah.
He spent like days up in a tree,
really?
and it showed.
It showed.
Yeah. And this was just through the work week while a kid was there.
He was on the course. Guys are like, "Who's that guy from the tree?" He's like, geez, don't ask."
You better drive straight. That's all I'm
You
saying.
better drive straight.
I want to get in the rough.
That is intimidating. Whoa.
He was a hard guy to understand. Like, you just I did not know how to read that guy.
Yeah.
I consider myself pretty good at reading people. Never could get a good read on that.
really good.
Well, no. Other than he might be a little off.
A little off.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. But I mean, I think growing up here, you always felt safe. We ran around all over town.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally ran everywhere in town. There was, for a while, one of my aunts had a job where she took papers to, like, people's newspaper got missed.
Oh, okay.
She had like bundles of papers, and they would call her on the pager and tell her what
pager?
Yeah,
That's
tell her
pretty
what I think she
like
knew
that.
how to walkie-talkie or whatever. We'd write down what address it was, and we'd take the paper there.
Was it a
My
walkie-talkie
brother-
or a pager? I don't think
it
pager.
was-
Were pagers out yet?
Yeah,
Pictures out.
there were pagers, but yeah.
Scott, I need somebody. Do you think I'm probably not a pager?
No, I don't think it was a walkie-talkie because we couldn't talk back. She'd have to stop somewhere and call them if she needed
Might do some
information.
research.
Yeah, I think there's a lot
But
of
also,
holes in
like,
this
sometimes, like a paper boy or carrier would get shorted on the
story. Paper
amount-
boy carrier?
Paper boy, paper woman, man, whatever.
Paper woman,
would
man.
Uh-oh. They would get shorted on the amount of papers they had. I mean, this is beside the point. But we would take it to their house. So we were basically on almost every road in town at one time or another. Although, honestly, where we live now, I didn't know this place existed, right
So
in
not
town.
every road in town.
But everywhere else in town, we were there.
This would have existed. This isn't a new area.
No, it would have been here then.
Yep.
We just never came here.
So,
No one ever missed papers here. For whatever reason. But we went everywhere in town, never felt
you still read the paper?
unsafe. No, I don't read the paper. Nobody reads the paper anymore.
Print media's dead.
It's dead.
Well,
It's gone.
You know, I'll mention one other thing because it just hit me because of what Kevin said.
We're kind of short on time. I'm just kidding.
You don't have to wait then until the next go around.
You're good. Go ahead.
No, I think you hear a lot about it today, and I know all of us look back with some little rose-tinted glasses. I get it, but I think it's always been mentioned that, you know, and maybe it's more even for parts of the rural America too, not just maybe generationally, but you were always outside doing something. I mean, we had our time inside because I know at that time Atari had come out with the video games, and there was some of that, but I think a lot of it was we were still outside playing wiffle ball or playing like tag football or something. I mean, so there was still a lot of outside stuff, and I guess that was kind of what I look back on it. What was kind of fun too, because and maybe it's a misnomer. I didn't do research. I don't have a full thing of analytics here, but you always hear about the more isolated the cultures become over time, where people are indoors more, and even the kids are indoors on the computers, or maybe they're with social media with the phones or whatever. And that doesn't mean that there aren't kids that are going outside. I'm just saying as a whole that there seems to have been a less so of that over the years. But so I really feel blessed that we were able to kind of get outdoors.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all.
Yeah. I agree. Well, that's what you love to see kids. I mean, because we would like watch football game, on the weekends with our dad, but then like as soon as the game was over, or if it's like, oh, it's a blowout, let's go out and play our, we'd want to go out and play the sport. And whatever season it was, that's what we did. Yeah. If it was baseball season, we're playing baseball, football, basketball, that was pretty much the only sports that we cared about then. Yeah. That's all we played. Yeah. So, track and field, we would run. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
We do high jump in the backyard. We did do wrestling.
We did do big time
wrestling.
You didn't do. You did wrestling.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, thanks for correcting us. That's probably a whole other podcast.
I have nothing to contribute to that because I did not involve myself in any wrestling. I didn't watch any wrestling. I didn't do any wrestling.
It was big then. While we were growing up.
Yeah, because that was
still pretty popular.
I know.
WrestleMania,
True.
I think, was.
Yeah, it was just starting then when we were in high school and stuff.
Arguably one of the more popular wrestlers of all time was when I was a kid.
True.
Yeah.
Did you really watch?
No, because I knew it was fake.
I kind of quit watching by then. So
I'd hope so. You're an adult male. Get it together.
Well, I watched it with my dad.
Well, he's kind of the demographic.
Sorry, Dad.
Sorry, Dad. Actually,
he probably still watches wrestling.
He grew up watching it too.
He grew up when it was real.
When those are real.
It's still real, Dad. I'm sorry.
Wrestling is real. I don't know what you were doing covering it.
I didn't want him to hear what you said. That's all. Do you have anything to add on like what it was like growing up?
That you were maybe. Well, it's interesting because you were another. Was a
generation later?
Yeah, generation later.
Yeah,
the next gen.
Yeah, I would say up until like probably high school, it wasn't really too different than what your guys' lives was like, because that's about the time. I would say maybe early middle school or like maybe 7th grade, because that's about the time the internet hit.
Oh, okay.
So that was like at least in our area, the internet already existed, obviously, but it's about the time it started getting popular. So we had instant messenger and stuff, other ways to communicate, and I didn't really get a phone until high school, I think. Maybe freshman year. So I can remember having it in school, but like text messaging wasn't big yet, and I had a pay-as-you-go phone, so I had to so I had to pay per text. That was rough.
Could you watch videos and get
there was some deal where you could watch videos, ads on the internet, and get extra time.
Yeah.
And I would do that because then you gotta be able to text.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta be able to keep in contact with your buddies. You gotta shoot your shot with the ladies. You got to have. That was mostly you were shooting your shot mostly on instant messenger because you weren't getting a phone. You could ask anybody for their instant messenger. You weren't asking everybody for their cell phone number because that's crazy.
I see.
Easy, and it's easy also. Like your buddy's got this girl's instant messenger account, so he lets you know the name. And you're like, hey girl, what's up?
we didn't have that when we were.
No,
you had to ask for a phone number.
Yeah. And the beauty of being able to sit behind a computer screen and just say, "Hey, what's going on?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not have to approach a girl face to face. Game changer.
It is.
Game changer.
I mean, we might have had a shot back then.
Yeah. You might have been a ladies' man.
I think there's nothing.
We
like
were pretty
going
backward
up to a person face to face and getting dumped.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's the good old days.
Oh yeah, and I dumped and was dumped through text message.
Text message too.
Yeah, not the best way to do it, but
I guess not.
It takes some uncomfortability out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
It also dehumanizes. It depends on which side. If you're doing the dumping, great. If you're getting dumped, just the worst.
Not the best. Yeah, when you're getting the old can.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
That's kind of rough.
Text message, I know for sure it happened. I had a girl that I dumped via text message. Dumped me via text message.
Oh, really?
In a sweet revenge.
What You're Gonna Want to Do podcast would like to apologize to this girl.
We're not going to name names.
I don't know her name.
We're never going to do that. I had dumped her first, and then later on, we got back together. Then she gave me the exact same spiel I gave her.
Oh, it's not.
Did she set you up for that?
I still wonder to this day.
Like played you along just so she could do the dumping with the text?
Yeah, that's what I wonder. I wonder that to this day.
That's
for 2.5 years.
What?
I'm just kidding.
That's the slow knife in. I mean,
yeah, that was dirty.
Man,
the old twist of the. That's a rough one.
That's harsh.
Yeah. But sometimes it gave you too much courage, and you were saying things that were wild, things you'd never say to a person's face. So that was a little bit. Maybe that was not good.
I got you. Yeah. But it might have been good for. I think it might have been good for people like Kevin and I or others that were shy or whatever, to kind of break the ice at least.
Like it gave you the confidence. You know that girl at school you never thought you'd shoot the shot at.
Yeah,
it didn't matter when you were on there. You were shooting shots at all the girls.
Yeah,
every girl you thought you didn't have a shot with, you're like, listen, behind this screen, I might have a shot with video.
Behind this screen,
because the beauty of that is you just go to school the next day and pretend like that conversation never happened.
That's right. That's great.
I'm sorry.
And
man.
if they even tried to address it, you'd be like, "Oh, that's not mine."
You can say one of my buddies. He was at the house.
Even better, you say, "That's not even my username."
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's not mine.
That is great.
Caleb Clark is not my username.
You never use your. This is the generation gap speaking here. You didn't use your real name.
There you go. Yeah. See, Kev, we would have used her real name and still been embarrassed.
Yeah, that's what would have happened.
So we would have
and all the cute
mastered it.
And you knew a girl was cute because the classic cute girl move. She liked to put a lowercase x and an uppercase x beside each other before her name. Okay. And then after. That's how you knew who the cuties were.
Oh. Okay.
Uggos were just doing whatever, but the cuties, they got the lowercase x and the uppercase x, and you're like, I know what's up. We knew what was up. It was code. They didn't know. I don't think they knew they were doing it, but we
knew.
The guys.
You guys knew.
Yeah, we were on to it.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, and you guys said you did a lot of things too, similar.
Oh yeah,
went out with buddies.
Yeah, played outside, rode bikes a ton.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we didn't. Well, not town. We lived out in the boonies. We weren't going around town.
You guys
when we were young. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's for sure. And see, yeah, we did.
You guys were a little bit different than us because, like, on Friday night after a football game, we would go, into town, go to McDonald's. There'd be
Yeah,
kids
you
from,
would
like, all
usually-
the schools would be there.
Yeah.
And, we would go in and like scrape together like 37 cents so we could buy some McDonald's land cookies so you could sit inside. Because you had to actually buy something to be inside or they would kick you out. So we'd like buy a box of McDonald's land cookies and sit in there.
I mean, there were people that did stuff after football games, but I didn't. I did not.
Okay.
I don't like social things. Social things weren't my big thing.
This is true.
If it was just me and a couple buddies, then sure.
Yeah,
I was
then there
down,
would
but
be.
I wasn't trying to do a big group hang.
Yeah, I got
That's not really my bread and butter. So I said, no, I'm gonna go spit game at the cuties on Instant Messenger and then go to bed.
some cuties against a message.
And usually they weren't replying because they were out at the things.
Right, they were out.
Yeah, they were out
socializing.
Yeah. So it wasn't my best move.
Well, at least you were out there. I mean,
Yeah, and I got to bed at a reasonable time.
yeah.
And those idiots weren't.
Oh, yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
We were up late.
Yeah. And I wasn't trying to. I wasn't. You probably didn't play games that were that far away back then either.
Oh, we went. Yeah.
How far? That's not far.
Well, if we went far, we wouldn't.
Yeah, how far
Because
would you-
we'd
how
go to
far
Bell
would you go?
Fountain.
Bell Fountain. I
We
think.
went to.
That was probably like you were like.
We went to
this is-
Circleville one time.
Okay. All right. Okay. One time though.
One time.
But like a lot of stuff was probably like 15-minute drive.
Yeah.
You probably played a lot of
somewhere in
internal
there.
games.
We played a lot of the schools in the county were in the league then.
And we did.
Yeah, well, we played. We were playing crazy places.
The only places outside of the county we would really go would be Bell Fountain and Urbana.
Yeah.
And I was usually after the game, I was pretty worn out from watching that whole game
Oh,
from the sideline. I was exhausted. I was like, I've seen a ton of football
I
today.
just seen a ton.
I was on my feet.
Got to get up
4
early.
quarters.
Got to get up
Gotta get
early
up early.
for the JV game.
Yeah, these JV games aren't going to play themselves. So I wake up well rested the next day and just go out there and kill it in the JV game.
Then you just
Because I was the only one who slept the night before. That's why.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
a bunch of idiots.
We were the idiots. It was like
You probably played like trash in the JV game. There I was, JV
I
all
was like like Babe Ruth going out there, wasn't hungover.
drunk on a hot dog binge.
on a hot dog
Stayed
bench.
up all night,
No.
out there playing,
The next
still killing it.
morning, early afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, it was so weird. Thinking about the time and stuff is. You would. I remember like being in a car going down Main Street or something with buddies, and you wouldn't really be doing a whole lot. And part of you, then you're like, even part of you then is like, man, this is all we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, is this it? I mean, is this
it?
Then you get older, and as you're getting older, you're like, boy, that sounds pretty good. Because if that's all I had to worry about,
Just hanging out.
being a little bit bored, part of you,
Yeah.
I'd take that any day over, some of the, things that have transpired in each of our lives,
Yeah.
the challenges, and
Yeah, for sure.
I guess facing more and more your mortality as you get older. All of that, that was not even a worry. So I'll take a little bit of boredom, hitting rocks over the fence with my ball bats.
Oh, yeah.
Any day of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
The
mean,
stuff we
it's
used
just
to
so
do
funny.
to pass the time. My kids would be like, what are you doing?
I mean, we would spend hours just driving up and down Main Street, and then like every once in a while we would like drive farther through town.
Farther through town. We might go farther.
Farther out.
We used to hang out
But
at the
usually
Walmart
it
Garden
was-
Center.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like till like 3 a.m. in the morning on the weekends. Just chilling.
The Walmart Garden Center.
Yeah. And you know what happens when a Walmart worker walks into the garden center and sees like 5 or 6 guys sitting around a garden center table? They go. They're not hanging out. They're not there to see what's going on. They just say, whoop, okay. And nobody comes back in the rest of the time. I don't know what they thought we were doing, but they weren't about to find out. Just, whoa.
It's theirs now.
Yeah.
We're out.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I just it was just fun to just something to hit you,
Yeah.
That's is this it, or what are we gonna do? Anything? Not really.
just drive
But
back
then
and
you're
forth.
like, but that's pretty good though. When you think back, it's like I'll take those. To
And the goal was always to meet girls.
meet girls. And that's where it comes from. Is we going to do anything, or we're going to meet anybody? Not really.
Very few times did we ever meet girls.
No, but there was always in the back of your mind a girl could be present.
Yeah.
You never know where the girls are going to be.
Yeah.
You had some ideas.
I remember one time, I think we were getting pulled out of McDonald's. There's a guy on a motorcycle, and this girl walks up and says, "Nice bike," and the guy's like, "Hop on," and she hopped on, and we're like, "What?"
Well, the thing is, though, and I'm not going to speak for you guys, but we were trying to go where the girls were, but if they were there, it didn't make much of a difference.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
I think see
you know
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They were there. It didn't.
I can.
It was almost the same as if they weren't.
Maybe if they weren't.
That's how we were.
Yes.
We just wanted them to be there.
Yeah.
There used to be
the excitement of the possibility, even though you weren't really going.
And then what was our reaction? Did we run up and talk to that girl? No, we did the opposite of that. We're like, "Hey, girl. Told you there'd be girls here. I came through.
Then you go home a night later, head on the pillow.
Yeah.
Man,
there was a girl.
Why didn't you say anything?
I think the whole girl looked at me.
Yeah, we're trying to come up.
She
was looking at me.
Yeah,
we used to go to Target a lot, not because we were going to shop there, but because one of two things: either a cute girl was shopping there, or a cute girl was working there. And we'd go there and we'd be like, "There's a cute girl," and then we'd leave.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Now
and then we talk in the car. We'd be like, "Did you see that cute girl?" And they would say, "Yeah, I saw that cute girl." And they're like, "She was pretty cute," and you'd be like, "Yeah."
We used to go to Dairy Queen.
I think it's very similar or the same.
We used to go to Dairy Queen every day after weightlifting because there was these two girls that worked there. And we both had crushes on these girls. And, every day we just walk up, "I want a Mr. Misty Freeze."
Yeah, Mr. Lemon Lime,
and
please.
They'd give it to us and thank you and smile and walk away. We never once like, "Hey, what's your name? Would you like to go out?" Never once.
Well, see, we weren't cool enough because the vibes we were giving off was like me.
Yeah.
But you don't want to give those vibes.
No.
If you're that desperate, you got to be cool. See.
Plus, we were all sweaty and stinky from.
That's a given.
That's a bad move.
Yeah, that kind of is bad, isn't it?
I remember.
Maybe that was our problem.
Probably.
I remember one of the only times we actually talked to a group of girls was when we were on vacation. We were in high school, and there was a group of 4 girls, and there was a group of 4 of us, and it was like, I mean, when do you ever get the same numbers? You never get the same numbers.
You never do.
And we talked to those girls, but we were just being stupid the whole time. And looking back, you could clearly see that some of them liked some of us, but we fumbled our way like a bunch of idiots. Like the biggest bunch of idiots.
That's a possibility too, is that maybe there was one instance where they might have liked you, but you were totally lost.
Yeah, and I think looking back, probably it was probably a lot more frequent than what we thought.
Possibly.
I think it's less frequent.
I'm going to go less frequent with me.
I don't think so. I think
but in that particular scenario, one of the girls said that one of us looked like this rock star that she thought was very attractive.
Oh, nice. One of you.
And then
nobody took
that particular individual did not take the bait.
Oh, man.
Hey, I don't look like Justin Timberlake.
It was a rock star.
That's right.
The lead singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Anthony Kiedis. Boy, he's not really attractive.
No, she must have had bad taste, but...
Well, it doesn't matter, really.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
People would always think my brother looked like people. He would get like...
Oh, Keith,
Yeah.
He did look like people. He was people.
And
Kirk Cameron?
Yeah, he would get like that kind of stuff. And I would be like, "Oh, you look like Fred's cousin." Get stuff like that. I'm like, "Oh, that's nice."
Oh, like somebody they knew named Fred?
Yeah.
Oof. That's tough.
Yeah. Never anyone famous.
Yeah. That's a good time.
So you're like, well, I probably don't have a shot here.
I would say overall, the only difference between the way I grew up and the way you guys grew up is we had that weird tech shift. There.
Oh, yes. I could see that
towards high school. But I'd say like probably our elementary school days life was pretty much the same.
Yeah. You guys just had cooler video games.
We had the coolest video.
Yeah.
The Nintendo 64 was a game changer.
Yeah.
Sega Genesis, what a time to be alive. But but I would say when we were younger specifically, we didn't play a ton of video games, like young.
Yeah.
We did mostly play outside. We played some video games.
Quite a bit.
But high school I played a lot of video games, but I also played out. I mean, we were also outside a ton too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that technological shift would be the biggest thing.
Yeah, because you see kids today that hardly got it all. Now, I'll say that like my grandkids aren't like that.
No,
they like to play outside a lot.
For they're gifted and talented athletes, not band nerds.
You might get the plug pulled on us here.
But speaking of generation gaps, I tease my don't shut us down, Silas. I tease my parents all the time because they can track my brother, and he knows that, but they never could track me. So
they couldn't.
No, because we didn't have that technology.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they were. To them, I was where I said I was.
To them, I was where I said I was.
And Mom, we were always where we said we were.
Oh, and we were always.
My mom listens to this. Scott. Ask Scott. If we said we were somewhere, that's where we were, right, Scott?
And we weren't ever getting
wink, wink.
We weren't ever getting into crazy trouble, but we were doing some like light juvenile delinquency.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's what we got into. Same thing, kid. Yeah.
Never heavy arson, light arson. No, we didn't burn anything down, but we burned a lot. We burned a lot of stuff. I mean, we burned things.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
You can't tell me you never had a night where you burned a lot of stuff.
I don't remember.
You never had it. You never had to go with a fire.
Well, that was one of the things that my brother and I would often do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We would try to see what was flammable.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
It's for science.
Oh, science. Yeah.
And then once it wasn't flammable, we would then add gasoline.
To make sure it is.
Yeah, because then that pretty much made everything flammable.
This is no fun when nothing's flammable.
No. When
let's add an accelerant.
Yeah, for the sake of not educating anybody in case somebody does stumble upon this and accidentally watch it to this point.
Do not play with fire.
I'm not going to say the things we discovered that burned, but man, some game changers. You know what I'm saying?
Some game changers.
Yeah. The closest I ever got to really messing up bad was...
Be careful.
Paper airplanes.
Oh my gosh!
Because
you threw one with.
That doesn't sound like light arson. That sounds like heavy arson.
It was outside.
But
it blew back up onto the roof of the house where there were dry leaves.
That's what I'm saying.
I was gonna say
that's regular arson.
Yeah, we got it out, but I mean that could have been bad.
Oh man!
Jeez.
And then one time.
I had a buddy throw a pop can that was fire one time.
Oh, really?
And that was crazy. It sat there for a little bit and then went...
A full one? I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the safer things I can divulge as far as the fire stuff goes.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable saying anything else.
Well, I know
it's not to incriminate me.
Yeah, incrimination, and I don't know. We may
statute of limitations stuff for you guys.
Yeah, we may go ahead and bring some of these individual things up.
Yeah, because we can't be grounded or anything for it.
Yeah, statute of limitations is way, and I can't be grounded.
Yeah, I remember. There was a bunch of construction through town one time. And I was driving. Scott's in the passenger seat, and he just reaches out. I was sick of
we did a similar,
crazy kids.
We did a similar thing.
Did you?
Where we grabbed a cone, but this cone had a blinking light on top of it, and it was nighttime, and we were worried. We were worried that the light was going to give us away, so I punched the light out. Really? I punched it till it was thick plastic. I punched it until it stopped blinking. I hurt my hand.
I bet
really bad. But my buddy's driving, and he said, "Do something about that light," and I was like, there's only one thing I can do about this light.
There's only one thing I can do.
Pummel it to death.
So I'm going to hit it and keep hitting it.
Couldn't it throw like a coat over top of it or something?
It was summer. No one's wearing a coat in the summer. You think we were wintertime grabbing coats? We were summertime grabbing coats.
True. There's
Summertime.
not a lot of construction in the wintertime.
Well, in Ohio, there's construction every time of year.
Well, true. Some places are always under construction.
But yeah. That's my youth. The What You Gonna Want to Do podcast is brought to you by Just for Pits Deodorant. Are you as disgusted as I am every time you hear or see an ad where they're talking about putting deodorant in places that you don't want to even think about?
Yeah, brother.
Right? That the makers of Just for Pits deodorant shares your repulsion. They believe deodorant should be applied in one location on your body, and that's your armpits. They believe in this so strongly that they have engineered their product so that if it's applied to any other place on your body, it will cause you to break out in a painful rash. Just for Pits isn't just their name, it's their mantra. Just for Pits, my goodness, remember it's just for your pits. Just for Pits has been approved by the FDA. Has not been approved by the FDA. Sorry.
It's not approved.
Discontinue use if painful lesions appear. Is not recommended for expectant mothers. Just snuck that one in there. Men who want to father children, adolescents, elderly, or anyone who has ever been exposed to sunlight. Just for Pits deodorant.
All right, this week for our Bible section, we're going to talk about Old Testament prophecies about Jesus. And do you want to start? I'll start.
Nope.
The one I have to start with is in the book of Genesis, and it's the fall. And if you're not familiar with the story,
You have to read very far to find this one.
No.
I already had it in mind when I suggested this topic.
No.
But
That's the one
to
I was
give you the
gonna do.
background. This is where Eve is in the garden and the serpent approaches her, and he begins to talk to her, asking her if there's, did God really say that you can't eat of any tree? And I will point this out, that it's the same lie that Satan uses even now. He'll say, does the Bible really say this and that? Mm-hmm. Does God's word really say this or that? And they kind of go on from that, even to where adding that, maybe it says that, but it doesn't still mean that today,
Yeah.
But anyway, he asked if there, is there any tree that you can't eat of? And she said, we can't eat of the tree that's in the midst of the garden. And he says that if you do eat of it, you won't die, because that's what she says. She says, God, you will die if we eat of it. And she says, you won't die. Sure. You'll be like God, knowing good from evil. And she looks at the fruit, sees that it looks good for eating, and so she partakes of it. She gives it to her husband, Adam, who's there as well, and he eats of it as well. And then after this, they realize they're naked. They've been naked the whole time. They make clothing and they hear God coming, and they go and hide. And because they have sinned, God puts curses on them. And I'll get specifically to the curse that he puts on the serpent. And this is in Genesis 3, verse 14 through 15. The Lord said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock, and above all beasts of the field. On your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." And this is the first prophecy in the Bible about Jesus. The serpent being Satan, and the offspring being Christ. Some versions don't use the word bruise; they actually use crush. And if anyone's not seen The Passion of the Christ, there's a really good example in there where you see him stepping on the serpent's head. Just brings that out. Something that was pointed out to me in videos I was watching this week, when David kills Goliath.
He cuts his head off.
Yeah, but his armor was very much like serpent skin. Scale-like, and then he does cut his head off. Very, and in a lot of places, David is very much a type of Christ. And so we'll get into types of Christ in a future.
That's a lot.
Episode. There are a lot, as there are a lot of prophecies concerning Christ. But this is one. This is the first one, and it's always been a favorite, because ultimately Christ triumphs over, and he already has. He's already triumphed through his work on the cross over Satan. Do you know offhand, like a close number of how many prophecies in the Old Testament there are?
I do not know. Several.
Yeah. I want to say like maybe over 100, but
I mean, there's some that we probably don't even.
There's so many
prophecies.
Yeah,
but there's a lot. I don't know a number.
Yeah. Anything you want to add to that?
No. But when you did tell us that this is what we were going to do and ask us to come with it, and I did not do that. That is one of the first ones that came to mind.
Yeah.
And actually, I think the second is where Scott's going to be, or maybe not. Well, you're going to appear too.
Yeah.
No. I'm not taking it over. I'm not going to step on you.
Oh,
No. I wasn't prepared. I did not understand the assignment. Book reports aren't my thing.
I went ahead and took a from Zechariah, which is one of the prophets. He's talking about actually the judgment on Israel's enemies at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been so many enemies that have come upon Israel through the Lord's wrath. I mean, with the Israelites not obeying with the Lord and worshiping false idols and that. So this section is kind of taking that, but as he gets towards, I think he mentions Jesus here for sure in the coming of Zion's King. And he says, "Rejoice greatly, daughter Zion. Shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." He will proclaim peace to the nations. His rule will extend from sea to sea. So that's, it's just so...
Yeah.
Of course, we all know later, we were told in Scripture over several times that the apostles about Jesus coming and riding on a donkey and
Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday, yeah, absolutely.
And they quote that scripture.
Yeah, they quote this
in the Gospels.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to.
It is.
The prophecy makes these things even more.
Yeah.
What's the word? Confirming.
Yeah.
And I think adds some more clarity to everything. I mean, it really connects the two testaments.
It does.
And it makes it, I mean, as if anybody has to be told, as far as Christianity goes, I think it is important because of that to read and study the Old Testament as well as the New.
Right.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I was going to say is, like we were talking last week, starting off with the book of John, I think that by starting off in the Gospels and, reading some of these things that transpire in the life of Christ and then going to the Old Testament, you're going to see these things and it's going to, pop when you read it and realize, hey, this is what happened, on Palm Sunday when you're reading that.
Yeah.
And, different things you'll read. Was it Isaiah 52? That has like
53.
Yeah, 53.
Yep.
Is that one of the other ones you had, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna read that and you're gonna like, this is Christ, immediately. And things that you'll read throughout the Psalms and all through the Old Testament, really. There's not really a book in the Old Testament that doesn't refer to Christ in some aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've already said something similar to this before on the many, many podcasts we've already done. But
just a plethora.
But if you look at how many scripture or how many prophecies are fulfilled in Christ, in his first coming, and it's a lot. I can't remember the number, but it's a lot. There's no way it can be made up.
Yeah.
Because even the best authors in all of history haven't kept that kind of continuity in their writings.
No.
I mean, even Tolkien,
Yeah.
he even had stuff that he had to go back and fix and later rewrites and stuff. But and even still, he's not knocking out of the park. I mean, nobody's having that level of consistency in what they're doing and the way they're fulfilling it. So it just doesn't. How could it be fake?
Right. But because it was written over centuries.
Centuries. Yeah.
And then centuries later, Christ comes and fulfills all these things.
Yeah.
To the letter.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Did you want to read?
Oh, I wanted to just to help confirm what Caleb was saying. I mean, number-wise, I'm just saying 300 prophecies were fulfilled.
Wow.
By Jesus.
Yeah.
456 references in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And we've just read a couple here.
Yeah.
But Caleb's, I mean, there's a lot.
A lot.
I mean, and you're right, there's no author even comes close.
No.
And you're talking the time between the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Yeah.
All those years for then these prophecies to unfold.
Yeah.
And
there's no. Yeah. I mean, there's no way.
It's just funny to think about because, if you think about like people who are a big fan of a certain thing, like comic book fans, or if you're a fan of a certain TV show. What is the one thing that people always get mad about? They get mad about the way the character is represented because that's not the way that character was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because they're not getting that. They're forgetting the source material. They didn't forget the source material because it's real.
Yeah, that's real. Well, that's awesome.
I mean, and that's when authors don't change. Those authors don't change.
Right.
This is multiple human authors. Now, granted, all inspired by God, but this is multiple human authors. How would they be able to keep that kind of consistency? You can't even keep that kind of consistency with just one
absolutely
single author.
Yeah. And the eternalness of it. That's a reflection of the eternalness of the Word.
Yeah.
And so this thing and the culture, of course, like Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. This has been happening. Yeah. And it happens today with people trying to cherry pick or trying to change or distort what's in here, and then claim, well, we're in a different era.
Yeah.
But this is eternal.
Right.
This
God
isn't
is unchanging.
It's unchanging. Yeah. Well said, Kevin. It's not changing. It doesn't need to change. It's always true, no matter what era it is. But I mean, it's just the hubris of each generation and some of the criticism of those who don't embrace Jesus or Christianity to come up with that all the time. Every era has got the same. Well, so it's changing now, so we're gonna have some things that are a little different. It's like not really.
Nope.
There's really no argument.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, there's no argument that hasn't been leveled.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and these people get so, especially, we know about some, maybe on what you might call your left or your liberal stances on some social issues, and they get all wrapped up in this stuff, and then claim that, well, the Bible has to change, so we're going to distort it or interpret it a different way. It's like, well, no, it's always applicable as it is written all the time.
Right.
And you're like, well, what now about this generation that you're the special ones, thousands of years and hundreds of generations, and you've now got the right argument. It's like, no.
I mean, and that all goes back to the very first prophecy of Christ when they were in the garden. Satan said, "Did God really say? Did you really say that? Did he mean you're going to die?"
Yeah, I think
that's awesome. Back to the beginning.
And if you
literally the same playbook.
if you look at every sin and every temptation in your life, it's all back to the same root. It's always questioning God. It's questioning God.
Yeah.
Whether you're questioning whether He is good, or you're questioning what He says is true. It's always questioning, and it's always coming back to that, one way or another.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Yeah. Did you want to read from Isaiah 53? Was that one of the ones you had? Because that is so rich. We could just read that to end the segment on, I believe. That's a good way to. As you hear these words, and you imagine Christ on the cross, it brings it out so well, I think.
And Isaiah was one of the major prophets.
Yes.
Because I think there were minor and major prophets.
Isaiah's a pretty big chunk of prophecy, and a lot of it. There's a lot about Jesus in there.
Yeah.
You got it?
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay. My hands and thumbs are going through my. It's like I've got 3 pages with one turn of my thumb, and like
thumbing through a Bible at the last second's always talking about nerve shooting through the roof. Anyways, hey, can you find that for me real quick? That's never the way that goes.
When there's thousands of people out there watching.
I forget where Genesis is if you ask me to find it that quick.
Where Genesis is?
I think it's in the middle. I don't know.
Who has believed what he has heard from us, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant and like a root out of dry ground. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. Yes. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And as one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed. All we, like sheep, have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. All right, well, we come to the segment now where we say, well, this is what happened on this day throughout history at 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, whatever. And it's kind of enlightening. I mean, some things that jog your, I remember,
Yeah, gives you a little insight into to this day, October 3rd.
We'll start with births.
It's always a good place to start.
Some births here. Gwen Stefani.
The musical recording
I'm sorry.
artist.
Yeah, I should probably say that. We may have younger viewers.
No doubt she was born this day.
Absolutely, Kev.
I mean, yep.
The Al Sharpton.
The Reverend.
Whoa.
American minister, politician, and certainly civil rights activist.
100%.
Steve Reich, he's a composer. He's an avant-garde composer.
Oh.
So him and John Cage did a lot of experimental stuff and helped to, in their own way, bring experimental avant-garde music and as a thing. I mean, it started doing things in the 50s and 60s.
Is it jazz?
Not really. It's really more experimental things. Just different ways of looking at music and what could be music. Very esoteric and very avant-garde. That would influence a lot of avant-garde. People like John Zorn, who was actually an experimental jazz musician. There's all kinds of people though and Steve Reich was one of those leading lights in that. Love him or love the genre or hate the genre. I know some people find it a little too out there to really, I guess, appreciate.
I don't think I know it enough.
Musical element in it or not, but yeah, he's an influence certainly. And writer Gore Vidal.
Oh.
Was born.
Yeah, big fan.
Hey, I'm a big fan.
Gore Vidal, most picture books, probably. Did a lot of picture books.
Yes, he did a lot. Notable works. He wrote Lincoln.
Oh,
so he's a big biographer, and writer. So
did he do Jackie Robinson's biography by any chance?
Oh, I don't think it was him.
What about Babe Ruth? Then I'm probably not familiar with his work. Kind of listed them all.
He didn't write the Bible, Babe Ruth, or Jackie Robinson. Caleb doesn't.
All the literary classics.
Both of them.
Yeah. All the three.
Janet Leigh died this day. For those who don't know who she was, stabbed in the shower scene in Hitchcock's Psycho. Yeah,
great movie.
Yeah, very good movie. Very good movie.
And I even liked the remake. Did you ever see the remake?
I haven't seen the remake.
It's good.
Was it pretty
good?
good?
Dialogue is all the exact same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, cool. I'll have to check that out.
Say Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn's in it.
You played Janet Leigh's character.
What do you think? We're gonna move on.
Okay. Of course, one of the big trials of probably one of the big trials of the last 35 years or so ended today.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson found not guilty of murdering his ex-wife Nicole Brown.
Yeah.
And her friend
I remember
Ronald.
I was at work when that happened, and we're all sitting there like, what?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are a big fan of his football career, but Dad mostly liked his off-the-field stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He did good in Naked Gun.
Oh, yeah, he was all right naked.
He killed.
And,
He actually...
and running through the airport.
Yes.
Those Avis commercials.
In the Avis commercials, yeah.
My favorite chase
glove.
he had was the one in the white Bronco.
Yes, that was... well, he's a controversial figure.
I would,
For sure.
needless to say.
The Andy Griffith Show debuted.
Same
Wow.
And was an immediate success. Even then, it was.
And what year was the debut?
1960.
Awesome.
The Andy Griffith Show. Starring
The greatest.
Andy Griffith.
Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
Ron Howard.
Probably Ronnie then.
They won.
Don
Well,
Knotts.
Don Knotts, yeah. One of the greatest detective movies ever to be filmed came out in 1941, The Maltese Falcon.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've seen the Maltese Falcon because of how great it is. I like it so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Humphrey... Well,
You
it's
said
no
Maltese Falcon?
Babe Ruth story, but it's
And it was like a talkie.
it was a talkie. There's Humphrey Bogart, Peter
Oh,
Lorre,
I love everything Bogart did.
and the heavyset guy Sidney Greenstreet, who was also in Casablanca, another bogey movie. But
Talk about snooze fest.
it's a big...
Oh no, it's. Oof. He had to sit through the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Sputnik 1 launched by the USSR.
Yeah. Ooh, likely story.
Just born a day after, right? Can I do that?
I think so.
Sure, because we're not
Because let's end it with not Sputnik. How about it?
All right.
Let's.
Yeah, we don't want to give.
How
the
about
audience anything.
a little old American actor, a
It doesn't
legend,
get much more
October
American than this.
4th,
Alrighty.
1923, born Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's end it with that.
oh
Can't
yeah,
get more American than that.
no.
Yeah.
Moses.
Moses. Yeah.
President of the NRA.
President. Yeah.
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 Yeah. He's president of the NRA for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben-Hur. Oh, yeah.
One of our lone representatives to the apes.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Get your hands off me. I can't say it.
Yeah. Right.
Blank, dirty apes. And you all know that if you've seen Planet of the Apes, the original.
He was not very. Those movies were not very good.
You didn't care for him?
No. Very slow.
Oh, okay. I did like some of them. But,
Yeah. They weren't the.
he's one of my mom's favorite actors.
Oh, for me though, the Ten Commandments movie is one of the best. One of my favorite movies ever.
Sean always loves to quote. I think it's Ben-Hur.
I've never seen Ben-Hur.
which is a great movie.
I've
You
heard it's
gotta
great.
see it.
I'll have to check it out.
He's his character's in like a Roman bath, and Sean does it a lot better than I do. Does Charlie? It might have been bathed or drowned. He does.
That's a pretty good job.
Sean does even better. But he always quotes that. He loves it. We all get a kick out of it.
He does act in every movie like it's like a high school stage play.
Yeah, he does.
I'm not saying he's a bad actor,
That's right.
but it does feel a little bit like it's a high school stage play.
Did you guys? Well, maybe Caleb might have seen it if your dad played any of it or had any of it taped. The comedy troupe SCTV with John Candy and all those guys. Well, they did spoofs, of course, on movies. They did The Towering Inferno in the 70s, which there was this big. I don't know, trend to do like earthquake,
Disaster
airport,
movies,
these disaster movies. And I don't know, I think it was Joe Flaherty that played him. And he had this thing where he'd always touch the back of his neck.
Okay.
And he'd do this, it's a long way up there. we gotta get her hoses all the way up, and he at the back of us, and he would do that all the time, real dramatically, and he'd grimace and stuff, and that's what I always remember about it. I can't help it when he gets that way in a movie. I just start laughing. It's like, okay, here goes the Charlie, the grabbing and the rubbing of the neck, and kind of the anguished face and squinting.
Neck
and
was hurting.
Neck, man, he needed
go to a chiropractor.
I think you're right. Maybe
just get
Charlie
adjusted, Charles.
You go to the chiropractor more often.
Yeah.
But I'll
probably all those years in the desert.
the desert.
That's good stuff.
But I'll end it there with Charlie.
This day in history. Well, I don't have odd news this time, but this kind of goes along with when we were growing up. So
Okay.
These are songs that were. I'm going to give you lyrics from songs
okay.
that were hits
We're playing
the
the game.
year that we graduated. Of course, it would have been closer to this time of year, so it would have been.
Okay.
In the fall
You
of that
graduated
year.
this time of year?
No, we would have been in the fall of the year after we graduated. But
That's
your mom and I went through these the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
had a good
interesting.
time.
Some of them we got, some of them we didn't. So we'll see what
Sometimes you do,
guys.
sometimes you don't.
The first one, you see her sitting with her coffee and her paper.
We built this city on rock and roll.
Top sneakers of Italian design. With a long, cool stare, she aggravates the tension, makes up her face while she makes up her mind.
Brilliant Disguise?
No.
Oh, I thought I had it, maybe.
So you were thinking
Bruce Springsteen.
not Bruce. It's
James Springsteen.
no, it's the James Springsteen.
Jimmy.
It's the Piano Man's.
Oh, Billy.
Song by him, yeah.
Oh, that's
Why
good.
did you say not Bruce? Why did you just say not Bruce Springsteen? You made it seem like it was another Springsteen.
There is no other Springsteen.
I couldn't think of
Billy
another.
Springsteen.
Billy Springsteen. That's a good song, too. What was it?
It's Modern Woman
Modern Woman.
Ah, yeah. Bye.
by
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel. Yep. The next one. Well, I've been waiting here so long, but thinking nothing could go wrong. Oh, now I know. She has a built-in ability.
Oh, it's Invisible Touch.
Yes.
Oh, good job.
By far, Genesis' best song. That's a hot take. Not everybody agrees with that.
I'm going to have to probably go disagree.
That's fine. You can. It's by far their best song with Phil Collins as the frontman. Again, you don't have to agree, but it's true.
I'm going to have to relent. Is that, or no, that's not the word. I'm going to have
Concede?
to concede. No, I
Thank you. I win. Yes, I word tricked him into it.
This one you'll get right away.
I already did.
This is the next one.
He got that.
I've been
one.
listening to this
Heading
song a
into
lot.
twilight, spreading out her wings tonight.
Oh.
She got you jumping off the deck, shoving into overdrive.
Oh, it's Highway to the Danger Zone.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Kenny Loggins.
Is that the Loggins?
Yeah.
This one,
Who's corner?
Kim and I didn't get. Oh baby,
Also Kenny Loggins.
I don't know why, but somehow I always seem to get tangled up in my pride.
Tangled Up in
Oh
Blue.
baby, we're not that blind. Deep down inside, you know this love's worth one more try. Don't push it aside.
Whitesnake.
No,
Hot for Teacher.
no.
For teacher.
This one.
Tawny Katan.
No.
No.
This one. Rod Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
The classic Rod Stewart song.
you-
She's a Woman.
Love Touch.
Love
Oh,
Touch.
Love Touch. Oh, I wouldn't have got that
I
one.
didn't even know that was a song.
Yeah.
Love Touch? Yeah, I
Sounds
don't.
inappropriate.
You always say you like my style. You say I'm tough and kind of wild. Am I too much for you to tame? I swear this time it's not a game.
That's Whitesnake.
That's Whitesnake for sure.
I'm just gonna keep guessing.
If I've heard a David
that's-
Coverdale
if
lyric,
that's-
that is one.
Yeah.
Although it's from '86, this band was from the '60s.
The John Cougar Beaver Brown Band.
The 60s?
No.
Oh, it's Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, yeah.
No.
It's, maybe it is something like that. Could it be Cool in the Gang?
No.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
No. They had a hit
getting
TV
closer.
show.
The Monkeys.
The Monkeys.
Yeah.
Well, they're not
The
really,
Monkeys?
They're not really
Yep.
a band.
They had a hit then?
Yep.
In the
wow.
80s?
That was then. This is now.
Oh.
Remember that one?
No,
Okay.
That was then. This is now.
okay.
I'm not going to sing it because I'm not the singer in this group.
I had
You probably heard it,
I had the
though.
Monkey's Greatest
Oh,
Hits.
yeah,
I'm
I've
familiar with it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was it.
I didn't
know.
remember that lyric.
Nolan sang it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Night is young, so are we. Let's get to know each other better, slow and easily. Take my hand, let's hit the floor. Shake our bodies to the music. Maybe then you'll score.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
This is supposed to be a family-friendly
This
podcast.
this is not a family-friendly song.
Oh.
Then why did you read it?
It's Whitesnake.
Yes.
It's
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
we don't have to take our clothes off.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that one. Who was that? Tom
But I mean,
Jones?
I guess
Have a good
it is.
I think it is maybe the.
I guess it is appropriate because
Yeah,
they
you
don't have to take
your
their clothes off.
No, that's. I don't. I think your inflection is in the wrong spot.
Is that-
You don't have to take your clothes off.
Yeah, that may be the wrong episode. Do we? Is that Randy Newman?
No.
Oh, that's.
That would be so much better.
Can't take your hat off or. He had that.
So people go.
I would love to hear Randy
To take a hat off. There's a song called "Take Your Hat Off." I think.
This one I don't know.
That's the best Randy Newman. That is better than Randy Newman's Randy Newman. I love that.
We got all our clothes on our body.
I'll skip a couple of these.
Probably a good call.
Things look so bad everywhere in this whole world. What is fair? We walk blind and we try to see, falling behind in what could be.
Higher love.
Higher love.
Good job.
Steve
I
Winwood.
was gonna say you.
Good job, Caleb.
You better get this one, Caleb. All right, you guys will get this one. Her weapons were her crystal eyes, making every man a man. Black as the dark night she was, got what no one else had.
What?
She's like the wind. Is that the?
Swayze on us? It's Whitesnake.
It's obviously Whitesnake.
No,
The self-titled album from Whitesnake.
keep going back to white. There's no white snake.
Still
on
of the
here.
night.
No.
This is
Let me repeat
Is
it.
this love
the heat of the
that I'm
moment.
Let me
feeling?
repeat it again.
No.
And this song was a remake.
Oh, okay.
Don't repeat it again.
The Righteous Brothers.
Yes.
Oh,
You saw it.
Bananarama.
You saw it.
No, I didn't. I got the. Who doesn't love Venus?
You'll get this one. You could have a steam train.
Oh, Sledgehammer. Peter
Yes.
Gabriel.
Wasn't that allowed to recently?
Yeah.
Keeps popping up.
Hear the one about Susan. Some say she's just a tease. In a camisole, she's 6 feet tall. She'll knock you to your knees.
That's obviously Whitesnake. If I've not heard a Whitesnake lyric,
That sounds exactly. It's, here I go
I
again
could
on my own.
literally, yeah,
And then
I
it's-
could literally
then
hear
it's the
Coverdale
six-
doing
the
it.
6 foot.
No.
Yeah,
Negligee.
Tawny
What
Katan
she
was in the video
Yeah.
on some
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
It's the Timex Social Club Rumors.
Oh boy, that's
Well, that's the other thing I was.
And the last one I got.
a Timex Social Club.
But my friends keep telling me to give it up. Say you're too young. I have to live it up.
That's the police.
What I need right now is some good advice, please.
It's got to be the police because it's about a younger woman. And that's pretty much
that's-
every song they wrote. Like
This is sung by a woman.
Oh,
Mrs. Robinson.
Mrs. Robinson.
No.
Gloria Gaynor.
No.
Oh, it's who was,
Tanya Tucker.
who was the one? Who was the one that was she did a little bit of like
No.
like the globe thing. You know what I'm talking about? She would pretend to be Diane Warwick.
Warwick, yeah. Solid gold.
Tina
line.
Turner.
Tina Turner.
No.
It sounds like Tina Turner's lyrics.
Kim Carnes.
But you're familiar
No.
with most of Tina Turner's
Chrissy
songs.
Hind.
No. This one is one of the biggest artists of the 80s.
Oh, Madonna.
Oh, Madonna.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's why I never remember.
Papa Don't Preach.
Is this Vogue? Oh.
Oh, well, that's not even a good
Well,
one.
no. Scott mostly listens
Well,
to Vogue. I don't even know. Did she say anything other than Vogue in that
I
song?
don't think she does.
Probably not.
Papa Don't Preach.
And
Papa don't preach.
and lastly, Scott has this.
The word of the day.
Oh.
Dear Mr. Vernon, we accept the fact that we had to sacrifice a whole Saturday in detention for whatever it was we did wrong. But we think you're crazy to make us write an essay telling you who we think we are. You see us as you want to see us, in the simplest terms, in the most convenient definitions. But what we found out is that each one of us is a brain and an athlete and a basket case, a princess and a criminal. Does that answer your question?
Thank you and good night.
The Whatchagonnawannado podcast is brought to you by Scott Dog Productions and is made possible by viewers like you.